What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the PUNISH3R'S podcast on YouTube. I'm your host, Jamie Nazario, a.k.a. Tito Rivera, a.k.a. The Punisher on YouTube, a.k.a. I'm having a great day today. I must admit, I got myself a workout. I took a shower. I'm going to stream some good stuff later. There's a lot of NBA talk going around that I'm excited about. My Detroit Pistons have agreed, to a 2-year, $15 million deal with Derrick freaking Rose. D-Rose, baby. He's a Detroit Piston, and I love him for it because he had a great season in Minnesota. And now the man's a Detroit Piston. I've heard some rumors, especially from NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski, that the Pistons are trying to set a deal with JaVale McGee. So that'll be a pretty good pickup as well. And I want to talk about the Pistons. Because ladies and gentlemen, I personally, I was not happy with the pickup of one Sekou Doumbouya. I believe that's his name, Sekou Doumbouya. I apologize if I'm botching your name. I can't talk, apparently. I'm genuinely excited about the upcoming season. I don't want any single soul to jump on the Brooklyn Nets bandwagon. Nobody. I was a Brooklyn Nets fan last season with D'Angelo Russell, Karis LeVert, my man Spencer Dinwiddie, who was on the Pistons. Spencer Dinwiddie. Jared Allen and the crew. I don't want any of y'all to say, oh man, I like the Brooklyn Nets because KD and Kyrie. No. You're either in or you're out. And I'm in. Because I bought into the hype last season. But, as I said, I'm going to start off with the Detroit Pistons. The Detroit Pistons haven't exactly had the best track record when it comes to picking prospects in the NBA draft. Now, I went back as far as 2009 because I wanted to see what my Pistons have been doing with their draft picks. And I was not happy, ladies and gentlemen. I was actually depressed with what I saw from the Detroit Pistons. Let's start at 2009. The Detroit Pistons had the 15th overall pick. They picked a guy called Austin Day, whom I've never heard of. And they passed on Jrue Holiday, who went at number 17. Jrue Holiday, who might be either starting for the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm actually not sure. I don't know if he got traded. I don't know if he's left New Orleans. But last I heard, he was going to be a starting shooting guard for the New Orleans Pelicans. Maybe plans change after one J.J. Redick signed with the Pelicans. Congratulations to him. In 2010, with the 7th overall pick, the Detroit Pistons selected Greg Monroe. If I'm not mistaken, Greg Monroe, last I saw of him, he was in Philadelphia. That's the last I saw of Greg Monroe. He was in Philadelphia. I was not happy about that pick, ladies and gentlemen, because at number 9, we passed on Gordon Hayward. And at number 10, we passed on Paul freaking George. PG-13. Paul George. We passed on that man. Now, obviously, this is all with the benefit of hindsight. I don't know if the Detroit Pistons knew this at the time. I don't even want to get into the 2003 draft when they picked Darko Milicic over Carmelo Anthony, but that's beside the point. You know what? I'm gonna say this 2011 draft because that draft depressed me. I mean, I was depressed when I saw what the Pistons did in 2011. So let's go to 2012. The Detroit Pistons, with the 9th overall pick, select Andre Drummond. With Greg Monroe still on the team, after 2 years, they decide to go another route. That's fine. Plans change. They passed on Draymond Green, who went on the 35th overall pick of the second round. That's fine. In 2013, I actually don't consider that much of a failure, even though he ended up leaving, or either that or we ended up trading him. I am not entirely sure because I did not look into that. But in 2013, with the number 8 overall pick, we got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, KCP, my man, who should go back to the Lakers, in my opinion. He should stick with the Lakers. In 2014, at number 8, they picked up Stanley Johnson, and they passed on Devin Booker, who went at 13, who's a sniper, a great scorer. I mean, the man had back-to-back 50-point games towards the end of the season. I like Devin Booker. I feel like he would have been a better pickup. In 2016, the Detroit Pistons, with the 18th overall pick, selected Henry Ellenson. Anybody heard of Henry Ellenson? I'm sitting at my desk waiting for somebody to tell me who is Henry Ellenson. And we passed on Pascal Siakam with the 20, who went 27, and Dejounte Murray, who went 29. This one upset me too. Not as much as 2011, because 2011 was stacked, but this one upset me. With the 12th overall pick, the Detroit Pistons selected Luke Kennard instead of taking Donovan Mitchell, who went one pick later at 13, Kyle Kuzma, who went at 27, or Josh Hart, who went at 30. And then, obviously, this year, we picked Seko Doumbouya. Now, the damn 2011 draft. Oh, this draft. This was the draft that made me cry. This one. In 2011, with the 8th overall pick, the Detroit Pistons took Brandon Knight. I understand Brandon can play a little bit. With the 9th overall pick was Kemba Walker. The 11th overall pick was Klay freaking Thompson. Klay Thompson. In my opinion, the second best shooter in NBA history. Klay Thompson. Number 11. 3 picks after the Pistons. And then we passed on Nikola Vucevic, and we passed on Tobias Harris, and we passed on Nikola Mirotic, and we passed on Jimmy Butler, who went number 30. The Detroit Pistons need a new scouting team. They definitely needed a new scouting team. Hopefully, the main man, Dwayne Casey, is able to influence the development of Mr. Doumbouya, whom I believe will be a great prospect if the Pistons don't end up trading him. But you know, that's I'm excited about the Pistons picking up Derrick Rose. I really am. I've lived in Chicago for the past, I would say, 12 years-ish, 10 to 12. I was here for the growth of D Rose. And now I get to be a fan of D Rose. Might get his jersey for the Pistons. That's exciting. Now I want to talk about the Brooklyn Nets. My man. And in the words of the great Biggie, where Brooklyn at, baby? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at, man? Let me tell you something. I can tell you right now, Brooklyn is Atlantic Avenue. Brooklyn is the Barclays Center. Brooklyn is KD, Kyrie, DeAndre Jordan. Brooklyn looks sensational right now. I'm excited. I want to be in Brooklyn. I might get a KD jersey. Actually, I most likely will get a KD jersey from Brooklyn. How about that? Might get 2 more jerseys. I got a Gordon Hayward jersey. I got a Blake Griffin jersey. I like my Blake Griffin jersey. But I might get a D Rose jersey. And I want to get a KD jersey. You know what jersey I'm not going to get? Andre Drummond. And I thought that I was done talking about the Pistons, but I want to say one more thing. We picked up Derrick Rose. Right? Why don't we trade Reggie Jackson and Andre Drummond? Why don't we trade them and see if we can put a bid out for one Bradley Beal? I mean, could you imagine Derrick Rose, past his prime, of course, but a more polished Derrick Rose, with Bradley Beal and Blake Griffin? Thon Maker's still on the squad. We got Bruce Brown and Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard is sensational as a shooter. He might be top 10. I don't know. He's still pretty young, but that's going out on a limb. I'll admit that. Getting back to Brooklyn, let me tell y'all something. I'm excited. I mean, my top 2 teams are looking good right now. Detroit's looking like a solid 5th seed in the Eastern Conference. If Kawhi Leonard leaves, they're going to be a top 4 seed for sure. They're probably going to be 4th seed in the East. Because you got Philadelphia. You got Brooklyn. You got Milwaukee. And I mean, who else is there? Miami, potentially? Orlando, potentially? I mean, I really don't see anybody else other than my Detroit Pistons. The Bulls aren't going to do a thing. I can guarantee you that much. The Bulls aren't going to do a thing. Chicago people wanting big-time free agents to come to Chicago. Ain't nobody coming to Chicago. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, Brooklyn, Philly, Milwaukee, Toronto's still going to be a good team. If Kawhi Leonard stays, I mean, I see Toronto and Philly going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I just don't see teams in the East that can do anything. I mean, what teams do we have? I mean, we have the Knicks, who are better than they were. Not by much. We got Brooklyn. We got the 76ers. You got Miami. You got Orlando. You got Chicago. Got the Detroit Pistons. You got the Bucks. Am I missing any teams? I gotta write these down. Oh, the Charlotte Hornets, who added Terry Rozier. But they lost Frank Kaminsky. And, Frank Kaminsky wasn't much, but, they lost him. The Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtics, who added Kemba Walker, who added Enes Kanter. The Boston Celtics are loading up. They could be, they're right there also. Do I believe that the Pistons are better than the Celtics? No. Could we possibly be? I hope so. I would like for my Detroit Pistons to be better than the Boston Celtics. I would like for us to be better than the Miami Heat with Jimmy Butler and who else? Who do they have now? Jimmy Butler, Myers Leonard now, and Mo Harkless. Who else? Did Goran Dragic leave? I don't know. I'll have to look into that. By the way, I just want to throw this in there as an aside. If you guys follow me on Twitter at the Punisher, I believe. I'll have to look at what my Twitter is because I don't remember it off the top of my head. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys will see that I invited my boy Alex Rose. No relation to Derrick Rose. I invited my boy Alex Rose, on the podcast. Because Derrick Rose, I keep thinking of Derrick Rose. I'm just excited that the Pistons have him. Alex Rose. He's one of my boys, and I want to talk to one of my boys, I might actually get him into the studio apartment. I'm telling you guys right now, I might actually bring Alex Rose in the studio apartment. I might actually do that. Hey, Rose. It's the offer's out there. Let's get into some wrestling action. I am genuinely very excited about the WWE news that Paul Heyman is now running operations on SmackDown, on Raw. I apologize. Eric Bischoff, former president of WCW. Former on-screen general manager of Monday Night Raw back in the early 2000s. Eric Bischoff is manning operations on SmackDown. First of all, I believe that those should have been switched around. I believe so. Now, I understand that you want Paul Heyman, who, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Heyman is a brilliant. If I call myself a professional wrestling savant, Paul Heyman is a professional wrestling god. And I'm not talking in terms of in ring. I'm talking in terms of his mind. The man has qualities like he thinks so far outside the box. The box is probably like a mile away. That's how far outside the box Paul Heyman thinks. He is so brilliant. He is so great. Paul Heyman is great. The questions are about Eric Bischoff. And here's why the questions are about Eric Bischoff. Because it's SmackDown. And SmackDown in October is moving to Fox. Couldn't have had Triple H. You could have left William Regal down at NXT. I'm pretty sure that he could do a great job setting up matches. William Regal's no scrub. He's got a pretty good mind of his own. I'm almost sure that you could have left NXT operations to William Regal and let Triple H run SmackDown. I don't see why you couldn't do that. For all we know, Eric Bischoff might be good on SmackDown. But he might be so bad that he'll bring Hulk Hogan. He'll bring the NWO to SmackDown, for all we know. I don't know. I heard Raw was pretty good. I haven't watched it. because I have work. But I heard Raw was pretty good with Paul Heyman running it. I don't know how SmackDown's going to be. I hope it's good for my sake. I like SmackDown. It was one of the first wrestling shows I ever watched. Not live, but certainly on the television. On the television. And now I want to get into some AEW news. All Elite Wrestling had its, I believe it's its third show, Fyter Fest, second show, third show. One of the shows, Fyter Fest, which is like a video game wrestling show that Kenny Omega hosts, and Kenny Omega is a part of All Elite, and he got the backing of All Elite to do the show, and that's cool. Here's what I want to say. Whilst I'm at work, I like listening to old podcasts. Because I get to learn a lot of things that maybe I hadn't heard before, or maybe, it's something that, like, for me, something that could refresh my mind. And I was listening to the Steve Austin podcast with Paul Heyman from 2014. I believe it was either shortly before or shortly after WrestleMania. And Paul Heyman, whom, as I stated, the man is a professional wrestling genius. Paul Heyman said that if he was ever to run another promotion on that Steve Austin podcast, he would never allow a chair shot to the head. Protected, unprotected, safe, unsafe, no matter what. Why in the hell did Ty Dillinger hit Cody Rhodes, or Shawn Spears hit Cody with a chair over the top of the head? Why? What's the point? I mean, what do you gain from having an unprotected? Because it was unprotected. I mean, Cody had his arms down. What do you gain from an unprotected chair shot? Not hair shot. Chair shot. What do you gain from it? On top of that, from what I heard, because I haven't watched that show either, you told no story about Shawn Spears and Cody. So what the hell do you gain from a chair shot to the head? No chair shots to the head. Tony Khan, Cody Rhodes, Runnels, Brandy. Did you think about how what the branding would be? If you're showing that you're doing unprotected chair shots to the head? The marketing of AEW? I understand that it's a freer space, and I understand that it's a place where most of the talent pool in WWE and beyond want to go. I get that, but you're not going to be a top-tier company doing unprotected chair shots to the head. And I understand, and in just a full disclosure, I understand that it was reported that Cody did not have a concussion and he had 12 staples in the back of his head. So you don't get a concussion, but you get 12 staples in the back of your head. And that's a good thing? Because if it was up to me, I wouldn't have any staples in the back of my head. But that's them, not me. Another news. I know that I've been off the podcast for a couple of weeks. I just want to make it clear that we're human beings. As a human being who processes, thoughts. It's just difficult wanting to do a podcast and stream video games and have a real life job and not be exhausted. So that's why I've been off the mic a little bit. And I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to have done this podcast. I will be streaming. I'm going to try to be on the podcast a lot more often. I'm going to try to stream a lot more often. I'm going to try to properly keep up with this and make it a thing, because I like doing the podcast. Stuff to look forward to. The NBA Summer League has started. Pretty cool. I'm going to see how this Seko Domboya guy does against guys of his, I would say, stature level. I don't know. Extreme Rules, if I'm not mistaken, is either this Sunday or next Sunday. I know it's one of the Sundays. WWE Extreme Rules, that is. All Out in Chicago for All Elite Wrestling. I'm not going to be there. I wish I could, but I was at work when tickets went on sale, so I could not get my tickets. And yeah, that's about it. I want to thank each and every one of you who listen to this show. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know how much I suck at podcasting or how much you enjoy it. Either or. And I want to thank you guys so much. Punisher out.